I don't know what's going on, man. Uh, they have a mind of their own, doing whatever they want to do. But all right, maybe hopefully we're fine now. We'll see. But like I said, I'm not gonna be up too long. I'm just gonna smoke a little unbanded cigar. I was just kind of pretty much coming up here to see what you guys were all had going on and just kind of update y'all on some things that are going on. So somebody asked earlier, I can't remember who it was now, I don't see it, but every Cuban in the tournament is over or two. I told you guys they were two minimum of 2 years old. Everything's at least 2 years. They range between 2 and 3 years old. Um, yeah. Those Hoyas are about 2 to 2.5. They're almost around 2.5 years old. Everything's 2 years old. Hey, Prudence, how's it going? We're gonna get this thing cut up. So, as you guys will see, I have a pinned comment. Black Line Luxury started their YouTube channel, so y'all go over there and subscribe to Black Line Luxury's YouTube channel. Go over there, harass James all you want to, bash him and give him a hard time. So, I think I was subscriber number 2, but that website will be or that YouTube channel will be nice too because he'll be putting out a lot of things that I'm not, of course, most of you guys know that I'm affiliated with curating the Cigar of the Month Club, but that doesn't mean that I do everything there. James has a lot of other stuff going on, samplers, new cigars that'll come in. So follow that page and that will keep you guys up to date as far as new cigars coming out, new samplers coming out, any kind of things like that. If you don't find them on my channel, more than likely you will be able to see them on that channel over there. So I pinned the comment just in case so nobody have a hard time trying to find the channel. Hopefully everybody's having a good day though. Been pretty solid day for me so far. Just got done finishing a really, really nice bottle of Cabernet. I have never had it before and it was really enjoyable. It's a little bit pricey, so it's not something I'm gonna be drinking all the time, but definitely gonna grab a few bottles and probably drink one for my birthday, maybe drink one around the holiday season too. So this is just an unbanded Alec Bradley cigar. Nothing special, Dave. It's just a really cheap cigar. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time. I probably have about 45 minutes or so. So I didn't want to light up something, but that's still good. Me saying that it's nothing special is just a Alec Bradley second. So for me, like if these are cigars, I don't keep a whole lot of them, but I mean you can get bundles of them. I think I got them for like $20 here locally or something like that. So I don't really ever. I keep them in my humidor, and if I want to have a cigar with some good flavor, decent construction, but I don't have a lot of time and I know I got to rush or maybe can't really sit down and really enjoy the cigar, I'll smoke something like this. So I don't have to light up a nice Padron or a Foundation or HVC or something like that where I want to sit back and enjoy it. This thing here, if I smoke this and literally have to abruptly leave in like 10 minutes, it doesn't bother me. This cigar costs $1 or $2. So the Cabernet was just posted on my Instagram. Silver Oak, Napa Valley Cabernet, 2015 vintage. They do a Alexandria Valley as well too. It's a little bit low. It's still a very prestigious wine, but it's the Napa Valley, obviously the one that has the more notoriety, is more expensive. But I haven't tried the Alexandria Valley either. I'll be trying that soon too. But the Napa Valley was very good, very, very nuanced, very balanced. Probably the cleanest finish I've ever had on a red wine in my life. And I've had a lot of wines, but you got done drinking and it was like there wasn't any film left over inside or anything. It was a really nice, clean Cabernet. So this goes back to my theory too of yard guards being bad cigars. I still feel like for this one, it's not the best cigar in the world naturally, but this still has a lot of really good flavor on it. And the construction and draw is still really solid coming from a reputable brand. And like I said, at the same time, it's not any, if I hand this to somebody and they smoke it and throw it out in 10 minutes, I don't care. Or if I have to leave it or whatever, it doesn't bother me. It's just a really regular cigar, but it's good at the same time. I still feel it's still long filler, completely 100% long filler on this, and the cigar is good. So everybody working today, or what is everybody doing? Guessing I'm on vacation as of today. Matt, what you got? What you got planned? How long you on vacation for? I know you'll be smoking some good cigars. Hopefully the weather is decent for me. Actually, we were supposed to get some really bad storms here yesterday. Thankfully, nothing really happened other than it rained a little bit more so than normal, but nothing really crazy. It blew over in a couple hours, and then everything was nice and easy. Mathis, you just chilling too. When you got to get back on the road? But yeah, just definitely make sure you follow the Black Line Luxury YouTube channel, because like I said, there'll be a lot of stuff that James will be releasing that I don't have a part in, or I'm not dealing, or I don't deal with. Like I said, for me solely really dealing with the club. There's going to be a lot of stuff that he posts on there. I know a lot of you guys will ask me about generic cigars or what kind of deals. That'll be the best place for you to go and follow along there. Shitty weather here today. Y'all, man, just heading out to Vegas to see my daughter and son-in-law, and both are in the airport. Yeah, I remember you saying that too. I'm sure they'll enjoy that visit too. That'll be a good time. Go back Monday. Got to keep those pick up and go smoke. Yeah. So the thing for me too, P, is like I said, I hate how people always associate yard cigars with they have to be like kind of budget cigars or cigars that aren't that good or whatever. For me, I still feel like I want to smoke a good cigar all the time. For me, I don't feel like there's a reason to ever smoke a subpar cigar. So for me, I always will keep a bundle of 10 or 20 of these in the bottom of whatever humidor, and they always serve their purpose. If they're sitting there aging, fine, whatever. That's the quote unquote buddy box for me. I'll grab. Somebody comes over and they don't really smoke cigars, but they want to sit outside with me and talk, or sit in the sunroom and smoke or whatever like that. I'll pull out one of those. Or like I said, if I want to have a cigar, if I'm kind of itching to have a cigar and I don't have a whole lot of time, then I'll jump over and grab one of these too. And like I said, if I have to pick up and leave in 10 or 20 minutes, it's not really worrying me, or I'm not trying to force myself to smoke somewhere, to rush the cigar through, but definitely need some. That's why I feel like for me personally, I've gravitated more towards smaller cigars like Coronas, Corona Gordas, Lanceros, Robustos. I feel like I've been more so smoking more smaller cigars. That's been mostly what's up my alley. Break at work. Curious if there's a way to find Cubans. Never seen one out here in Cali. Dave, it's gonna be pretty hard to find one in the States. I mean, like, and when I say this, finding them in the States, people have Cuban cigars, right? But then you have to go along the lines of, if I lived in California and you really didn't know me from Adam, and then I'm telling you, oh, I got Cuban cigars, but then the problem is you're probably going to get overcharged for them. So a cigar that may have cost me $8 because I feel like you're not as knowledgeable or don't know what really is going on, I may try to charge you $30 just solely off the base of it being a Cuban cigar. People do that. It's shitty, but people do it. Oh, we don't know. I'm gonna just tell them it's a real Cuban, which it is. It might be a real Cuban. So I'm just gonna overcharge you because I can. So I would say probably shoot me an email, man. Shoot me at mccoy.ronald@gmail.com. We'll chat, man. I'll point you in a good direction of some places where you can find them at. The only downside of what I'll say now is the places that I'm going to refer you to, you're going to probably more or less have to commit to a box of cigars. So it is what it is. But at the same time, I feel like for me, the way I think sometimes is, all right, I grab this box of cigars that may cost me $100 or $150. And even if I didn't like them, like, it's a good investment because they're still Cuban cigars and you can authenticate but then you run into the same issue I just said, people trusting you if you end up deciding to sell them out. But I would just take it for what it is. And like I said, do some research before you decide to pull the trigger on whatever said cigar. and see what sounds like might be in your flavor profile and go from there. But shoot me an email and we'll chat. 62 here today here in Utah. I agree. Less stress on your stock and brain. Facts. Favorite $5 cigar. I don't know if I'm gonna say I have a favorite, man. The few that I mentioned earlier probably would be like the Crown Heads Juarez Shot 66. I think that's a great cigar. Illusione Rothschild Maduro, Charter Oak Maduro, Charter Oak Connecticut. Like I said, for what it is, I was actually going to smoke a Kung Pao just a few minutes ago. I don't think it's that great. I think it's, I'm actually really happy that I didn't commit to a box of those before I got a chance to smoke them. I didn't get a box, but I was able to get one or two before to try them. And I thought they were an average cigar, but what I will say about Punch is their price is always really aggressive and really, I think, be to a lot of people's liking. So I would say something along the lines of Punch. I just kind of now with the Kung Pao being that, I kind of hope that they are done with the whole Chinese fast food kind of takeout series. Because for me, it's the egg roll is really good and it's kind of progressively gone down. Kind of the same thing with the Supreme Leaf too, man. Like the Robusto was really good, the Toro was good, and I feel like the Corona Gorda for me, in my opinion, I know some people like it, but I don't think it was that great of a cigar. So I'm kind of hoping that they stop making sizes and sit on it for a couple of years because the hype is already built in now, right? So, and as you guys know, I've always been like that. Don't hype a cigar. I don't care about the hype. I don't care about the story because, and with me saying I don't care about the story, it's all into contextual parts of it, right? So like the CAO Amazon Basin series, there was a story involved with it, but then the cigar performed and was great too, widely known across all cigar smokers as being great. So it enhances it. But you can't just give me a story on it. There's not a story on every cigar. There is certain cigars out there that, look, we just need to make a Connecticut or we need to make a Maduro. We came up with a blend. There's not a story with every cigar. So, and at the end of the day, for me, the story is there, but then if I smoke the cigar and the cigar is trash, then it makes me look at the story even more funny. So I think that's funny. Like some people are like, "Oh, I like the stories and stuff." Stories are cool when they make sense, and at the end of the day, the cigar is good. Because let's be honest, there's a story behind Swisher Sweet. There's a story behind Vega Fina. There's a story behind Phillies and all this stuff too. They're all like there's some stuff. There's nothing wrong with saying, I just wanted to make this blend. There's nothing really special behind it. I was sitting around and thinking about trying to make such and such blend with, but everybody wants to put stories with everything. And I think it's just a ploy and people are playing off of people's minds and emotions because we all know, like human nature, you hear a story and it makes you want to get involved with something. It makes you want to be a part of something. Where for me, naturally, I'm like that as well too, but I had to kind of wean myself off of it and just take it for what it is. I like cigars for the pure enjoyment of smoking a good cigar. As long as the cigar is really good, I don't really care about the story. Now, if the story is cool and the cigar is cool, works together. So 601 Oscuro. It's been a while since I had one of those. It's my bucket list to have one. After you mentioned that Viaje Private Keep, I found some very good cigar. Yeah, I think that, Rod, I think that's a very good cigar too. Viaje is another one that's hit or miss for me as well. I will say I did review another Viaje that came out last year. It's going to be a part of the lost files because it's going to be really close to probably impossible to find. But I reviewed it here a couple of days ago. But Viaje is another good brand. Like they make some good stuff. There's some hit or miss stuff. Same thing with Ezra Zion. I've smoked a few things that made me go, wow, this is really good. But most of this stuff for me is very average or just kind of like, and then you charge me $13 or $14 a cigar. That's when I'm like, nah, y'all can have it. Only good thing in living in the UK, Cubans are easy to get. I got a 5-pack of that Kung Pao. Like I said, I didn't think it was a god awful cigar, but I didn't think it. If you smoke the original Ron egg roll and you smoke the chop suey and you smoke this, you could just see it progressively going down. For me, at least, I didn't think it was as good. I used to be all over Punch at the beginning of my journey. That's how I was, Pete, with Perdermo, and I still smoke some of my father's, but my father, Perdermo, stuff like that. I used to be really, really all over too when I first started too, and now that my palate's changed, I don't really smoke a lot of them. Perdomo is not one of the companies that they just came to the top of my mind. There's a couple of cigars I do like, but for the most, like the new Sun Grown and Maduro they released yet last year, I didn't like either one of those cigars. I didn't think they were good. And there are like the 20th anniversary, I think it's a good cigar. The double aged Connecticut's a good cigar. The champagne cigar for me, I think is a good cigar for beginners. It's not something I'm gonna smoke all the time, but every now and then I'll go back and forth and smoke them, and they're very consistent. One thing I will say about Perdomo too, being a virtually integrated company, is they're very consistent. Their construction, their flavor profile, everything is very consistent. You never have to worry about grabbing one cigar and then the other. They taste completely different, or having severe construction differences on them. 2 boxes of the compound just into the packing in the whole lot. And honestly, Matt, that's what caught my eye too, right? Again, like I was just saying, we all get caught up in bands and stories and stuff like that, and oh man, that's cool. I'm the same way. I have to kind of combat human nature to try to go against that, because after a while, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So when I smoked it, I get caught up in stuff with bands and stuff too. But then to be completely unbiased and smoke something for what it is, and then I smoke it, I'm like, man, this cigar is terrible, or this cigar is super average, to have y'all hyping this shit up the way y'all are. And then that's fine, but then you start noticing trends, and not just the cigar community. So it's just like, for me, I don't know. So that's why I get to a point now. It's like, really, man, you could take the band off as long as the cigar is really good. And I can tell you, you just take this band off, and I'll tell you that I think this cigar is probably worth upwards of around $4 or $5. I wouldn't pay any more than it. Or if it's another one I'm really enjoying, I'm like, oh, I feel like this is a $10 cigar or a $20 cigar. So, Travis, what's going on, brother? Sean, what's going on, fam? I like the Louisiana Rothschild and the 858 for inexpensive everyday smokes. Those are both good. The story is how they justify the price sometimes, which is, I don't know, man. Like I said, I really do think that I challenge the community a lot on that all the time too, because I really feel like we are so captivated and just not being truthful with ourselves sometimes, or sometimes we want to be in the in crowd so damn bad, or you think that it's such a problem with standing on your own. It's fine, man. If you're in a room with 10 people and you're the one person that's saying something different, if that's truly what you believe in, then that's fine. Stand on it. But I feel like sometimes if we feel that way, but everybody else in the room is going that way, we're like, well, I don't want to really cause anything, so I'm gonna just go with the crowd, or that's what everybody else is doing, so I want to do it too. And for me, it's a damn shame to see that, man, because I look at a lot of stuff and I see people that don't even think for themselves, man. They just are following trends instead of what they really enjoy. So, Stu, and I think really most of the time the raw story is a lot of these companies, they have quotas, or like things may happen. They may be like, we haven't made a cigar with Connecticut broadleaf in a while, or we haven't made a nice Connecticut in 6 or 7 years. Let's do that. This is your new project. Make something with this. And that's what the story is. Or the packaging and the y'all know, man. It's like I said, there's cigars out there with elaborate packaging, great bands, and funny story. And it's just like, then you smoke the cigar and it's like, all right, that's cool. But when I get past all that bullshit, the cigar is not that good. So same thing with this compound thing, man. Like the packaging and the theme is kind of cool, but the cigar is not that good. So to me, the story doesn't really enhance or make the cigar any better. Toyota doesn't sell sedans because of their story. Some of these legacy manufacturers think they can make a 3-sentence press release about how old a brand and call it a day. The only company I'm gonna say that really can do that, Ben, like honestly, is like Padron. And it still really boils down to, is the product good? You know what I mean? Like, look at a Toyota or a Honda or Acura. They don't really have to market. They don't have to have rappers and stuff influencing their sales, because the product is good. It's not just something with high dollar. It's not something that's just flashy and fancy. And that's something I've had to learn over the past 10 years of living. Like, being a teenager in my early 20s, I was just pretty much like everybody else. You got caught up in name brand fashion, wearing Jordans, Nikes only, or stuff like that, whatever it is, Ferragamo shoe, like whatever it was. But you really get to a point where you start to really feel like you start to understand what's more important. And especially becoming more of a husband and a father, you start to think about it and realize that life is just more about other things other than yourself. So I think when a person can change their mindset and see things for what it is, that transpired me into whatever it is. I used to be a very big bourbon drinker. I probably will never own another bottle of Pappy Van Winkle unless I get it for retail, because I don't care about the story or how fancy or it's supposed to be the best of the best. It's not at this point, it's a complete novelty piece for me, because it's just one of those bottles where the whiskey is good, the bourbon's good, but that's a bottle that when you got people over for a party or something, you pull it out and it's a wow factor. Oh, he's got a bottle of something that everybody can't get. There's bottles of bourbon on the shelves every day that you can buy that are better. And if they're really a bourbon connoisseur and they disagree with it, I would challenge them on it, because there are weeded bourbons out there that, I think if you blind taste all this stuff, right? Like a lot of these people would choose over that. But in your mind, chemically, there's something that tells you you're drinking Pappy Van Winkle. So you force yourself to make you believe that it's better than what it is. Same thing with this cigar stuff, too. You see, whether it's a Padron or a Davidoff or Opus X or whatever it is, and I'll talk about that too. You see the expensive price point that you put on these cigars, or you see these elaborate bands and stories. So you force yourself to make it seem like you're getting a better experience than what you're really getting. But you have to try to fight to push the bias aside and smoke the cigar for what it is. You can't be fearful to say that a cigar is underwhelming to you. You can't be fearful to say it's not as good as you think it is. For me, especially being the curator of the club of Black Line Luxuries, I pride myself on hearing that. I don't want to hear everybody say that they love every cigar that they get every month. That's boring. That's bland. That's not making me work hard. Who in the hell every month say, oh, every cigar you pick is great. Everything, this is good. This is good. I like hearing good feedback. Now, I can tell, like when I hear, it's a difference between just talking and somebody that actually is giving constructive criticism. So for me, when me and James are listening to the feedback, I listen to all this stuff. I realize why you didn't like the cigar, and then I'll go back and do my own research, figure out what kind of cigars I think you like. Oh, okay, he's more of a mild to medium guy. This is probably a little bit too aggressive for him. Maybe got a little bitter in the back end. But that makes me a better curator. That makes me a better person too, because of the things that I'm trying to do as far as becoming a blender. I'm looking and taking notes of all this stuff. But I just think it's unrealistic that some people think that every release of every something is going to always be good. That's just not even realistic. It's just not real. Like me, James, and Nick are a three-part entity that work together to curate the club, more so me and James. But, we disagree on quite a few cigars. Like, as you guys see, we disagreed on the Iroa. He likes the Colorado more. I like the Maduro more. If you look at the Plasencia Alma Fuerte, he likes the Sixto more. I like the Salomon more. So, you respect each other's opinion, you work accordingly, and it is what it is. But to say that it would be just unrealistic to say that we all liked, we all agreed on every cigar. So I haven't had the session. I have had the session and didn't like it. I haven't had the coil. I like the coil. The session is okay for me. I didn't like the bones. And another cigar people talk about, the Punch Diablo. Now that we're talking about the Punch cigars, I hated this cigar. I didn't think it was that good. But then it comes to find out, for me, I don't like a lot of what AJ Fernandez does. I'm not going to say I don't like all of his stuff, because I like the H. Upman 175th. I like the New World Cameroon. I like the New World. There's quite a few. Lost de la Gloria. I like some stuff he does, but a lot of stuff I don't like that he does. So, Sherpa, what's going on, brother? Speaking true, so many people buying Cubans, but they love strong cigars. And so that's the thing for me too, James. That's why I was telling people too. For me, even with strength being in my grading scale, that's not me saying I don't appreciate flavor and complexity. Of course, for me, like I mentioned in one of the earlier videos, the ideal cigar for me is going to be very intense and full in flavor, have a lot of complexity, and have some strength there. Probably not that many cigars out there that are going to score that highly for me. But if I were to have to choose, it would be flavor, complexity, then strength, where somebody might not choose strength for me, or choose strength in their cigars. But I would agree, though. I think it's funny. Some people say they love strong cigars, but then you could just tell they don't. Like, I actually really do like stronger cigars, but it's been very consistent for me, not only with cigars, but whatever spirits I'm drinking too. I like strong bourbons. I like strong Islay scotches. I like strong, distinctive flavor. I've always been like that, even before I picked up a cigar. So for me, it's not a question of me liking stronger cigars. I've always been like that, no matter what I'm doing. Jesse, what's going on, man? But Justin, it's the same thing though too. So even with me and Lee Mac, we've come to the terms like we've always told people. If me and him really both agree on the cigar, that's probably one you really want to try to check out. We both like the Mortal Coil, for example. So at least a cigar I would recommend trying. He liked the Kung Pao more than me. There's probably a few other cigars he liked more than me. At the same time, I'm a huge Mil Diaz fan. He didn't like that cigar. Trying to think of another one. It was another cigar I liked, and he wasn't that crazy about. Mil Diaz for sure. What was that? No, that was Mystical and James cigar. But the one I can think of off the hand that I thought was a phenomenal cigar that Lee Mac didn't like, and he smoked it quite a few times, was the Crown Heads Mil Diaz. So, I mean, like, we disagree on stuff, too. I think the Kung Pao is a decent cigar. I probably wouldn't rate it that high, but I think it's decent. I put it this way. I'm glad I didn't buy a box of them. So, I found out that some harvests are better than others. Facts, such as Perdomo Champagne back in the early 90s, champagnes were on. Now I love the 20th anniversary. That's a good cigar too, and that's a fact too. Harvests are different because you're gonna get different rainfall, different weather every year. All that stuff does matter, and that's where the consistency really does play in. I felt that way about the Viva La Vida. It was okay, but to me, not worth it too. Man, dude, that's another cigar people talk highly about, and I'm sitting there and I've smoked a few of them. I'm like, I don't know what y'all are smoking. I don't know what y'all are like. It just tastes like traditional AJ stuff for me. But then the few people that I heard speak highly about it, they like AJ stuff, so it makes sense to me. Then I'm like, oh, okay, because I smoked it and I'm like you. I thought it was okay, but I was completely underwhelmed. There was so much hype behind the cigar. Very nice band, cool artwork. The guys that are running the company seem like really nice guys too. But at the end of the day, we smoke the cigar and just talk about the cigar. So. Any CAO sticks? Oh yeah, the Mortal Coil is a new one, Rob. I don't smoke many of them anymore, but a classic is the Brasilia. I like the Amazon Basin series. There's a Rick Rodriguez sampler that they had going on for a while. It's phenomenal. There's a few CAO sticks I do like. Truth about Honda and Toyota is that the brand speaks for itself, quality vehicle, and that's how I look at Padron. For a company to not have any sales reps. For a company to not have to be forced to put out new blends every year, every couple of years, the quality is speaking for itself. People always bash, where my man Pariah at? I hope he's watching this on the playback. I tell people all the time, and which for me is bullshit. They bash Padrones on how expensive they are. But if we're going to look at giants, Davidoff and Opus X Fuente make cigars way more expensive than Padrones. The most expensive Padron at MSRP is $40. A lot of them, now you keep in mind, a lot of Padrones sit at that 20 to 30 price point. There's a lot of family reserves that go in there. You're getting a lot of aged tobacco. It might not be your liking. You might think they're overpriced. Cool. The argument I'm making is people saying that they're overpriced cigars. They may be overpriced, but you can't. Why do I not see people bashing Davidoff? Why do I not see people bashing Fuente? I just smoked a 888 Purple Rain the other day for a review. MSRP on this thing is $45. The cheapest place I could find it online was $100. They got a $500 Oro Blanco. There's a Gurkha that's over $700. Padron has a $40 cigar, but for some reason, there's a stigma that Padron just makes expensive cigars. Last time I checked, Padron had a 1000 series. Last time I checked, Fuente had the Reserva, or they have a 858. They have some budget-friendly cigars. Davidoff ain't got nothing budget-friendly. Everything they serve is expensive because they catering to a certain crowd. But don't nobody bash Davidoff like they do Padron. I think it's a reason behind it. For sure, Anthony. I don't care about the band because the band's cool, like they say, you can't smoke it. So if I look at this cool band and the cigar sucks, I'm gonna sit there and be like, man, all that work into you put all that artwork and all that cool story into a band, and the cigar doesn't deliver. Shame on you. I have a Honda too, by the way. Matt, I haven't had the 500 Club, but it is here locally. I'm not against buying it and trying it. Maybe I might end up putting it on review. So I bought a punch takeout themed cigars for this collectability of them. So for me, like I mentioned in the upcoming video that probably won't be out for a month or two. It was actually doing me reviewing the Purple Rain 888. I said, look, if you are a collector or you're a person that you just have to have this cigar just to say you smoked it, fine. But there's no way you could tell me if I took both the bands, if I took the bands off of the Yeho 888 and the Purple Rain 888, there's no way you could tell me that you get that much of a difference. I think personally they're the same cigar. One costs $11 or $12, the other costs $100. How can you justify that? Just because the bands and the story behind it? Like, come on, man. And that's why it's like for me, like I have nothing against it because there's categories for everybody. There's always gonna be collectors, but me, I'm not a collector. I'm a smoker. So the story, you could save them for me. Give me the good cigar. Give me the cigar. Mom, what's going on, man? Ash here in the building. Got to run the airport now. All right, man. Have a safe flight. Yeah, like I said, I didn't think it was the worst cigar in the world, but I didn't understand the hype behind that cigar either, Pete. I smoked it and it was just like, it's an average cigar. Like, I had the Colorado last night. Nice. Yeah, I think most people enjoyed their Colorado. I hope y'all haven't noticed a disagreement on the David box. For those of y'all that is tuning in, I know it's a lot more people. I pinned the comment to Black Line Luxury's YouTube channel. He just started. He posted the video today. James did. So make sure you go over there and give the channel a follow. Like I was saying earlier, you guys know here we'll do the black and white ash episode. We do the monthly unboxing here. There might be some random stuff going on, but there's a lot of other things that James will be disclosing with Black Line Luxury's going on. A lot of neat things. So make sure you're following that channel. Go over there and subscribe, and he'll be able to keep you more in depth about if you're looking for a particular new cigar that's coming out, maybe a new sampler pack that we're doing. So, like I told him, the first video is always the hardest. I'm proud of him. He put his first video up. Yeah, Mortal Coil is a good cigar. Just smoked the Punch Diablo today and put it out halfway through. It was bitter the whole damn time. Right there with you, Derek. I didn't think it was a good cigar. I thought it was pretty dry and bitter as well. Strong cigar is sometimes good. Maduro must be flavorful first, and for the most, really enjoy a stronger cigar. When you say you never had a cigar that makes you put it down and get some sugar. Yeah, it's not too many that really kills me like that. But that Warhead, and as you guys see in reviews and stuff, man, y'all don't see me sweating or talking all out of, you can tell when nicotine is really affecting somebody. They start getting loopy in the head and not making sense. Like, it ain't, and especially if I got some food on my stomach, it ain't that many cigars I can't smoke, man. I'm just being honest. It's not me bragging or anything, but there's a consistency. Even me and Charles were talking about it the other day, and we were talking about spirits, and then I was telling him, he was like, it makes all the sense in the world now because you like strong spirits too. I like strong stuff. It's just what I like. It's not me just saying it just for the sake of saying it. That's why the preference or the bias is going to be towards stronger stuff. If I'm getting a similar enjoyment from cigars, but one stronger, I'm going to lean towards the stronger one. That's going to be the bias or what I'm going to show favoritism towards. But other than that, G3, what's going on, man? Matt, what's going on, brother? Pledged a great stick, found a bunch of STF. Fantastic cigar. Al Bash, Fuente, and Davidoff isn't soft, just soft. I don't judge people by what they smoke unless it's a Davidoff. Late Hour is a good cigar, though. I do like the Late Hour. Arturo Fuente, 888 Classic. Sid, what's going on? I felt the same about the Supreme Leaf. It was just okay. That new Corona, they could. I got a couple of boxes, but I'm really hoping they just stop making the cigar right now. Wait a couple years, come out with a new size, or roll them and let them age for a little bit, and then reintroduce it. The name and the hype is already solidified. The name is good. Trust me. If it doesn't release in a year or two, whenever it releases, it's gonna still sell out. Just sit on the cigar and make sure the cigar, for me, make sure it's ready. Also, what's going on? Yeah, Davidoff. Like I said, you can't say a Padron is overpriced and then say Davidoff isn't overpriced. You just can't. Like, Davidoff's median tier sits around $30 to $50 a cigar. All their year of cigars are $40, $45. All their small batch cigars are $40. The Royal Edition, the Robusto's $80, the Figurado's $100. Like, and y'all really talking about the most of cigars is $40. Me and Charles had another good conversation about that yesterday too, and I said this publicly too. The most I've probably ever spent for a cigar, I feel like it was pretty worth it, was about $30 or $35. I feel like most smokers are probably going to be in that area because I know Lee likes Davidoff. I'm sorry, not Davidoff, Atabey. That's depending on the size, can go between $20 and $35, $40. Charles agreed with me. I forgot what he's talking about at Atabey too. Padron, 1926 80th anniversary runs around 30, 35. So we all are going to probably be in that area where we feel about 30 to 35 is about the most you should spend. So it's like Padron's right there on the top part of it. Like, what's wrong with it? And on top of it, for me, I smoked a 1926 this morning. Just the refinement, the smoothness, the fullness of the flavor, you could just tell. Like sometimes you'll pick up cigars and they're just average or they're just bad. You just pick, for me, and I'm not speaking about the 1000 series, of course, but the 26 and the 1964, they just don't, for me, they don't miss. The construction is always on point. The flavors are very consistent. It's just a damn good cigar every time. That's probably the only cigar I can honestly say I've never had a bad draw from. Now, I've heard a few people say they've had bad draws and Padrons over the years. I've never had a bad draw from a Padron. It may have been even a little bit on the lighter side, but to say it was a bad draw, I've never had one plugged or never had one where I had to think about putting a perfect draw through it. Padron is always very consistent, man. Good, Pete Basham, man. Leave him a big old comment. Yeah, leave James a comment, man. I'm sure he'll be happy to see it. Renardo, what's going on, family? Bishnob, what's going on? Marvin, what is going on? That Corona isn't ready yet. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be ready for another 6 months. A long nap. That cigar is not. And then like I said, for me, I don't look at. I don't. It doesn't matter like what other people's opinions are, right? Like I always still say trust yourself. But I was even reading Half Wheel's article the other day. They reviewed it. They put the Toro above the Robusto, which whatever. But they say in a very distant third place is the Corona Gourd. Like, there's no way, man. Like and then you think about it for me too, Jesse. See, Jesse's had the Robusto. A lot of people that are making judgments haven't smoked all three. I've smoked all three of them. I can tell you from my experience. For me, their Robusto is untouched. It's just not close, man. Their Robusto was just, the Toro was really close at first, and as it's aged and I'm smoking more of them, it makes me appreciate the Robusto that much more. It sucks that they didn't make that many of them in the initial run, but that was a very special cigar. That's a top 10 cigar all time for me, for sure. And of course, being a Corona Gorda fan, I was really excited about this release, but it's just, being honest, it's just not there, man. Yeah, y'all see this ash is pretty flaky. How many cigars I smoke a day? It's done lower down some since my daughter was born. Probably about, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 on a good day. But it usually used to be around 4 to 6. But I would say probably now I usually smoke one in the morning. I'll have one around noon. Yeah, about 3 or 4 cigars. If a blender can't get it done under 40, then they're not blending. I don't care what kind of age, what kind of hand picking you do on a cigar, man. And trust me, this is coming from a guy that purchased a $100 cigar before. Smoking the Naka Tamale, that's a good cigar. Speaking of Naka Tamale, I bought a Unicorn before. It was a good cigar, but it was nowhere worth $100. I don't care what prime is, how it was, the flavor and the experience I had with the cigar. It was nowhere close to that. It just wasn't. Plasencia Cosacia 146, decent cigar. I tend to lean more towards the Alma Fuerte, the Reserva 1898, which you can't get in America, and the Reserva Original, the white band. I like those. I think the white band is the one that they use or it's organic. I like those more than the Cosacia. The only one I like that one. The only one I don't really like at all is the Alma Fuego. E-Man, what's going on, brother? 1 per day for me. I'm a new. No, that doesn't mean anything, man. There's people that have been smoking a long time too, Marvin. Like I think Lee Mac only smokes 1 a day for the most part, maybe 2, but most of the time 1. There's a lot of people that may smoke once every other day, once a day, once a week, so it just depends. For me, I like cigars, so when I'm off work or I'm at work, I'm always indulging in them. But like I said, that doesn't mean that you're a newbie. There's a lot of people that have been smoking for a long time that only smoke 1 cigar a day or 3 or 4 a month or whatever. So I agree. Robusto was fantastic. Toro was good. The Robusto is a top tier cigar. I really would be. I don't know if they're gonna be able to beat it. But yeah, one a day. That, like I said, don't. That's fine. Like I said, really, to be honest, as long for me, Marvin, I would just make sure the one a day I'm smoking is make sure it's a good cigar. Don't waste your time with no bad cigars. Favorite Opus, probably the regular line, the Power Ranger, the what is it, the Bellicoso XXX. I like that's one of my favorites, and I like the Reserva de Chateau. I like that one, and the Super Bellicoso. Those are probably the three Opus cigars I like. But really, honestly, like if I'm gonna choose between Opus or Añejo lineup, I'm gonna smoke the Añejo lineup. I think they're better cigars, and you save the money. So, Anthony, appreciate the donation, brother. But yeah, that's pretty much it, though, man. Like I said, I just came up here to kind of let you guys know because I know James will be releasing some stuff and letting you guys know. So just wanted to pin that comment. Make sure, like I said, most of you guys that are following me, a lot of you guys are in the Black Line Luxury Cigar of the Month Club and purchase cigars from Black Line Luxuries too. So this will be an easy way for you guys to support James and what he's doing over there with the Black Line Luxuries channel too. So pricing is really based on leaves they're using, whatever they may claim. Most cigar brands base their products based on their brand image. Yep, brand image, and then also sometimes too, like people don't realize with Padron, you have to pay taxes on tobacco every year too. So if Family Reserve is advertising that the cigars are between 6 to 8 years of age, and the average cigar, New World cigar, is only getting a year and a half to 2 years of age, then it's going to probably be different. There's a reason Jorge Padron has to charge more because he's been taxed on that tobacco every year until it's rolled and produced. So if he's got a Family Reserve line that has advertised 8-year-old aged tobacco, like of course it's going to be $20 or $25. It can't be $8 or $9. He's not going to make any money. The man's got to make money too. So. Beer snob, that's cool. Like I said, we were talking about that too. I think it really is going to depend on where your palate is and what you like. So I like the Colorado. I like the Maduro more. But then, like I said too, it is what like I said earlier in the stream, there are going to be differences time and time again. Like I said, he likes the Alma Fuerte Sixto more than I do. I like the Salomon, and then you would see a lot of people say they prefer the Salomon over it. So it's really just boils down to preference. I think they're both great cigars. It's really just going to boil down to which one you like more. So, smoke twice a day, but may smoke more than one at a setting. Yeah, it just really depends. Have you smoked the Onyx Reserve Bold? Yeah, Derek, that cigar was featured in September of last year. I don't think it was the Alma Fuerte. Yeah, it was featured in September, I believe. Yeah, I smoked it. It's a decent cigar. We ended up putting that in the box because it was a very new release, and a lot of people haven't had experience with Onyx. And I think for the most part, the consensus of it was most people enjoyed it. And that cigar is made by AJ Fernandez too. Again, for me, it's like it was a decent cigar. Like I'm not in love with, but a few of his cigars. A lot of them I'm not really a huge fan of, but I'm fluctuating how much I smoke. All depends. Indeed, it's not just the weight behind the brand, but what comes to things like Davidoff prices, despite good production, consistency, etc. Putting huge premiums on it for sure. We know that too. Just the band alone. Rob, what's going on, man? My first Atabay on the way run. I'm excited to can. I would recommend to see it if you're a morning smoker. Smoke that first in the morning. Don't if you can smoke in the morning on an off day or something like that, sit down and take some time and smoke it. I definitely don't think it's all hype. I think it's a good cigar. I think some people are talking about they feel like it's a Cuban cigar. I don't think it is. And Austin is a big Cuban smoker too. I can't remember if Austin's had the Atabay or not. You can tell when I don't think it's a Cuban cigar. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if it was a leaf or two in there from Cuba, but just to say it's a Cuban Puro, like no, it doesn't smoke like a Cuban Puro. It's completely different. Anybody that's had a lot of time with both New World and Old World cigars will tell you that it's not a Puro. Onyx Bowl reminded me of the Onyx Esteli that was like famous exclusive. The last Davy I smoked was a special R, and it tasted almost nothing. A lot of them cigars are like that, man. That's why it's a few of them I like, but the flavors got to be there because a lot of them just taste like paper, man. That in Bombay was good. I'm glad we got a little bit of backlash because some people were kind of like, man, y'all using in Bombay a lot. And it's like we've used in Bombay 3 times in the last 6 months, 5-6 months. And again, like as we said in the beginning, we want to kind of bring notoriety to a brand that a lot of people aren't smoking but need to know. So it's like we want to run you guys through some lineups or some of the cigars in the lineup. And this was a cigar that had to be in there when I smoked it. James liked it, but I said, this is a cigar that once people will smoke, they're going to go back and repurchase this cigar. And the consensus on it in Bombay is most people really, really like this cigar. So the few people that complained about it compared to the people that really enjoyed it, I think it outweighs it. You're not going to be able to please everybody, man. That's just the way of the world. Yeah, I'm a Padron 3000 fan when I jump down to the 1000 series. My 2 go-tos lately are the Bandolero and HVC, both great cigars. You guys know how much I like HVC and Bandoleros, and they're a good company too. You probably be seeing a review of that sometime soon. Still not tried the Atabay yet. Can't find a used retailer that ships overseas with the ones you've recommended, like the Lad XL. Also, let me do a little digging and research, man. We'll try to figure something out for you. Let me do a little research. But one thing I will say about this one cigar, the ash is just flaky. It's all over the place, but the flavors are decent. But Brian, what is going on, brother? I appreciate you, man. One of my other good friends, always taking care of me. Amendolas, I had 2 of them so far. The Connecticut was pretty decent, and the Maduro was decent too. The two cigars I've had were decent. I still got a natural in there that I haven't smoked, but the 2 I've had were decent cigars. Want to try the cannoli though. Even though I was late in joining the Black Line Club, I would love to buy one. Class in my way is my new mild cigar. Been looking for creamy. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. There's no bitterness in there. It's nice creamy flavors. A nice morning cigar. You talk about putting that with some coffee. That's a good pairing there. So, but like I said, I didn't want to take too much of y'all's time, man. I got some more stuff. Some more errands I got to run here in a little bit and figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner. But just wanted to come up quick smoke and tell you guys, make sure you subscribe to Black Line Luxury's YouTube channel because a lot of questions that you guys will have for me, I'm sure James will be able to answer over there, especially when it comes to more traditional questions as far as stock, samplers or new things going on. So y'all make sure y'all sub up to Black Line Luxury's YouTube channel. On that note, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. Ain't no telling when I see y'all sometime soon. Next episode of Cigar Madness will be out in the coming days. Me and Eric got to piece together a couple other things before we start continuing on. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys haven't checked out all the tournament all the way up until this point, make sure you guys check that out too. We have first 5 episodes that have aired already. So on that note, man, y'all know the name of the game is relaxation and enjoyment. Damn sure don't forget to be driven, never motivated. Make sure y'all have y'all a good cigar today, man. Smoke some good cigars. Be good to your family. Be good to your friends, man. I'm gonna catch y'all on the come up. So y'all be good.